the kicking YouTube streams. This is why we have the pre-show. It's all fine.
It's not okay.
It's all fine. You see, here's the flaw when it comes to the current multi-stream thing I have. You can set it so that you have to individually click start on both of those things. Like you can set it for that. Or you can set it so that when you go live, it will also go live on the things that you tell it to go live on for the multi-streaming. But I only need that to happen on Thursdays. I don't want it to happen any other time. Any other time, we're only live on Twitch. That's it. But I don't have a... Well, because I don't want to
multi-stream in general.
Because I don't want to flood my main channel with a bunch of live streams of me playing other games. When right now it's just a nice place for anime content discussion stuff.
And the anime book club, of course.
That's what this is. I don't know if you knew this. This is like anime related discussions.
Wait, this is live?
Right now, yeah.
Oh shit.
Filmed in front of a live studio audience.
On 4K.
Why is it called Anime Book Club when it's manga?
Because I had thought of the name as a placeholder when we were starting, and I kept saying I'll come up with a better name, and then we didn't. So
yeah.
I feel like calling it a manga book club sounds redundant and boring. Anime
so we just
book
went
club
wrong instead.
Well, so it's not wrong though, because the idea is we are reading works related to anime, right? Because the idea was we would not always be reading manga. For instance, we've read a couple webtoons, and we may in fact in the future eventually convince people to read a light novel. That might be a thing that ever happens potentially. And so I can't just call it manga club or something like that, because what if we want to do something that's not manga?
Chef's looking at the future, okay? This is some 5D chess.
So, I've called it the Anime Book Club since we started, just because I was like, we'll come up with a better name, and then we didn't. And I need a name that's good, that encompasses the fact that we're talking about, like Japanese media, probably. Which means we can use some kind of, like, phrase. There are, like... I know some other podcasts with, like, cool names, like Getting the Mecha podcast. That's a good one. Under the Kotatsu. That's a good podcast name. There's quite a few that I've seen that had interesting anime-related podcast names. I don't know which one we would want to use. So right now we've just been calling it the Anime Book Club. That's what you get. There's your lore drop.
Thank you. I needed to catch up on that.
Yeah.
I think I also need to binge the Umineko manga, like, tomorrow.
Apparently. Listen, you don't have to binge a whole thing. I mean, we're watching so for those of you listening, we're planning to finally start watching some of the anime related to the manga works that we've read, and we're going to be starting with Umineko this weekend. We're going to watch the first 6 episodes of Umineko. I said 6, right? I think initially I said 8, and then I reduced it to 6. So we're doing 6.
That should only cover the first episode, right?
I feel like we'd have to consult Ari about that. Ari would probably know exactly how much the anime covers in those 6 episodes. I'm just very interested in seeing how they butcher the series. I'm just very interested.
It's going to cause me physical pain.
Now, we've been told a few people are not going to make it this week. I believe Andy's not going to make it for the semester, I think. Coda is not going to make it tonight. Shino's not going to make it tonight. Who else isn't going to make it tonight? Ari's not going to make it tonight. You know, Ari's not going to be here. Thank God. I'm glad.
I actually can't make it either.
Oh, that's good. I don't think I'm going to be here, too.
Total fabrication.
I think
never happened.
I think I gotta go. I gotta go pick up some bagels.
Okay, bye.
I'm not sure what here means.
Well, actually, Battle is still streaming, so actually,
Why isn't he in this stream, actually? Can you get him in here? I want to hear his thoughts on Rozen Maiden.
I don't think he's read a book in the past, like, since high school.
Do you think he knows how to read?
I know he doesn't know how to read. I've seen his stream.
I don't think people don't know how to read.
Just trust me, Shadow.
What else doesn't he know how to do?
We'd be here for a long time.
Does he know how to cook?
Yeah.
Does he know how to build a computer? Does he? Oh, well, that's.
Hold on,
Does
so
he?
find cook in his context.
Does he know? Does he know how to play Minecraft?
Does
Is it
anyone?
roasted?
What? Machita.
Does he know how to stream?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Okay,
that's good. That's something.
we're getting somewhere now.
That's it.
Oh. Oh, okay. Does he
know
know how to
do
say
the
his
dance?
own name properly? That would be, that's a good one if you can do that.
Yes. Nobody
Okay,
else
well
does.
that's good. That's good. That's good.
Well, the proper way is whichever way he last said it.
This is true.
Based. Okay, wait. I have to force in order for us to start the stream quicker. Okay, no, okay, never mind. Okay, I went to try to start the ads early, and they've already been playing, but they did not play early. Okay, that's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. The speed run is the run is fucked. So we'll be starting in about 3 minutes. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes. We're not waiting on anybody else, right?
No.
Everybody's here, right? Yeah. Pretty
Right.
sure everybody's here. Hey, also, by the way,
Unless-
there may or may not be a potential chance that I have to leave for 1 second to go get a package, okay? They have failed to deliver a package to my house yesterday because for some fucking reason, the Idle Story manga things that I ordered this time decided we require a signature now, even though it never has for the past 5 volumes I've done this for, okay? Never has. And so apparently they tried on Wednesday to deliver, or not Wednesday, Tuesday to deliver it. And they were like, well, we required a signature. We rang but they didn't ring the bell. They didn't knock the door. They didn't do any of that shit because I
No,
just
why
didn't
would
even
they?
know anybody that have it. And they just left a note saying, oh, well, we tried to deliver it and it requires a signature. Well, okay, well, fuck you. It never required it before. So I had to call them because the USPS website, okay, is a piece of shit. All right. First of all, okay, it would not let me put in my I put in my address and I know it's correct for what it is on the tracking information too. But when I hit enter, it says, oh, well, it doesn't look like the tracking information is correct. Like the address doesn't match what's on the tracking. I know it is, though. I know it. I have the tracking thing. I have it in front of me. I see it. So that was one thing. The more pressing matter is they have a little box on there when you're trying to schedule redeliveries on it, where it's like, would you like to add additional information for your delivery? And I tried to see if it would work. I tried to write don't require signature just to see if that would do anything. Apparently that doesn't work because the word don't contains this thing called an apostrophe, which their text box doesn't like. So you are not allowed to use certain characters in that text box, such as apostrophes.
Wait, how?
Apostrophes and quotes. I'll tell you how, and you're gonna know. SQL injections. This is how USPS prevents SQL injections. They just don't let you use the characters in a text box.
But there's
where you're
other ways you can get around. See?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't. Oh, believe me. I know. That's like this. I described on stream yesterday when I was ranting about it. I was like, listen. There are like toddler ways of addressing SQL injections, and then there's like embryo ways of dealing with injections. That's the embryo way of doing it. Like, this is a text box where you're clarifying to them how they're supposed to deliver your package. I feel like it's not uncommon to have the word "don't" in that field. Like,
Or just anything
don't
with an
put it there.
apostrophe.
Yeah, like. So
Well, maybe you should make your English teacher proud and stop using contractions.
I had to.
True.
Well, I said, you know what? I'm not letting them win. I'm not going to write do not. I'm going to write don't without the apostrophe. And it's going to look wrong, but I don't care.
Gotta show them.
And then it didn't matter because it wouldn't let me submit it anyways because it kept saying the address didn't match, which is wrong. So I had to call them and they had to schedule it. And anyways, all this to say, they were supposed to deliver it today, the redelivery. It still says redelivery scheduled for today. It has not been redelivered today. And so I have to
don't think
listen.
you're getting it.
I have to listen because these fuckers require a signature now, apparently. So I have to listen for this shit. So if I have to suddenly run to go sign for that real quick. It will take like a minute, and then I will be back.
Yeah, we could stall with our banter. Don't worry.
Damn,
I
how
don't think
late
you're
do you
getting
get
it tonight, bro.
deliveries?
Yeah,
So,
like you're not getting it tonight, bro.
well, I mean, from what I understand, you can still get them this late. You can. It's not often that you do, but you still can. At least from my experience of this. But
I
it's
was
just.
hoping for a miracle.
I mean, I don't really. If I have to wait tomorrow, that's fine. I'm just annoyed because they had me go through a whole process to say I would like it delivered today specifically, and then they're not delivering it today specifically. They had me do this shit. I just don't. I just don't need to sign for it. Just leave it on the door. I'll grab it. That's it. But apparently, there's nothing I can do about that except for waiting to listen. Listen. Even if I assume it's not coming today, I can't just not assume it's coming today. Because if they try to deliver it today, and I don't fucking hear them delivering it tonight, then I have to deal with rescheduling it again. It's going to be a whole fucking thing. So, I have to listen for it. Whether or not they're still out there delivering shit, according to their thing, it's still scheduled to deliver today. So, probably not coming tonight, though. I gotta be ready. Oh, I didn't ping on the Discord, did I? I have everything ready.
You didn't ping the Discord.
That's fine. We're pinging them exactly when we're about to start, which is perfect. Also, the thumbnail's wrong on... Wait. Did I not update the link on that? Hold on. Don't click that. Don't click that one.
I'm clicking it.
Don't click it. Don't click it. Shit. Remove the link. They're not clicking the wrong one. Stop.
It's a made-up tale.
Stop.
It's a total fabrication. It never happened.
Okay.
You're just having a normal one tonight, huh?
I am always having normal ones. I'm a very normal streamer, okay? Listen, I have this all ready. I've tweeted about it. Everything's ready to go, okay?
Yeah, no, whatever you say.
Hey. I'm hearing criticism. I'm hearing criticism in your tones, okay?
What? No.
I'm hearing
Is that how
criticism.
you interpret it?
Yes.
You.
Yes.
Everything's up to interpretation, so if that's how you want to interpret it, I mean, go on.
And
go
I
for it. I mean,
interpret you
blue
all
trace.
as
This
fucking
is the
assholes,
truth.
okay? Why are
If
we
you believe
why are we spamming metal in the fucking book club chat? What is this? Magenta,
it was for when
garlic
we were
bread.
talking about it. I was giving context for what I
Garlic
was
bread?
talking. God's blunder. You just
Wait, is that supposed to be a way of saying his name? Garlic
yes.
bread?
It's 9 minutes of people saying other GB words for Gavin Metal. Gerber Baby is one of my favorites.
Oh boy.
I assume Great Britain's in there.
Probably.
The brain strike again.
I hope not.
All right, I think we're ready to go here. Let me just move this, and then we'll get started here. Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. Here to continue our discussion of Rozen Maiden, the manga. But before we get into that, let's get into our guests that are here for this week, starting in alphabetical order as usual. Aztec, introduce yourself.
I'm Aztec. I read the book.
That's all you need to be here, so thank you so much for that. Lady Mistaker, Galaxy, introduce yourself.
That's me. Hi, I'm Marianne, or Anne. Yeah, hi.
Hello. And next up we have me, Rosenborg, aka Chaplain, aka Wolfborg, aka the best host of Anime Book Club, other name pending here. We had a whole discussion about why this is called Anime Book Club if we read manga. It's a whole thing. Listen, you have to be there for the lore. Listen. I wanna make an adjustment to something real quick. Last week, I believe I recommended a game called Halo Wars. I would like to make an adjustment to this. Do not play that thing on Legendary mode. Do not play the campaign on Legendary mode. It is not a fun time. It is not a fun time. It is not a fun time. So do not. I'm still listen. I will blast through it. Okay, I will defeat all of the things by selecting all units and the local units. Okay, all of that. I will defeat them all, but not this week. I wasn't. I made it through like 2 whole levels in like 5 hours, and then the third one I got very close to doing it, and then they like had me fail the mission at the last second, and I was so pissed. And listen,
Yeah, they had you fail the mission, buddy.
they did
Yeah.
because they triggered it so that hey, I don't need any of the criticism here. Okay, listen, Halo Wars.
No, we're just telling you the facts. They just do that.
I'm just
when you're not skilled
telling you
enough
the
player.
facts. Yeah, I'm just telling you. Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm sorry,
Chap.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure you'll get them next time.
I'm sorry. I thought it was my turn to talk. I didn't realize.
No.
It's fine. It's fine. Listen,
Hey, this is communism, chap. It's our turn.
I'm just saying, okay, I still would recommend Halo Wars as a whole. Just don't play. If you do play campaign on legendary mode, play through the campaign on like an easier mode first to collect the skulls, because the skulls you can use to adjust difficulties at any point in time.
Make
Some
it
of which
harder.
make some of the levels. Many of them make it easier. They don't just make them harder. Some of them make
Why would
them
you wanna make it
easier,
easier, though?
so that you don't die forever on legendary mode.
It's when you're not a skilled enough player, Shadow.
It's when you get a game that's designed well for an RTS that is meant to be played on controller only. Okay, so anyways, that's Halo Wars. Halo Wars is still a fun time. Just legendary mode, be careful. Okay, be careful. Next up, we have Shadow Man V4. Introduce yourself.
I am Shadow. The thing I recommend is Manga Dio.
Based.
That's good shit.
We should read that for book club sometime. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, and Ari should read too.
Oh my god. Speaking of Ari, next up is Witch Arimi. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Arimian. I like shonen shit, and did I recommend? Well, no, I think last week I said I finished The Crooked House by Christie. Did I say that last week?
Yes,
Well,
you first said not Manga Dio.
Why do you keep bringing it up?
Why do you think you bring up Doro?
Anyway, well, if I said that I finished that one last week, I haven't finished any since. Oh, today I finished the 13th volume of Witch Hat Atelier. You should read that before it gets to anime, and it gets like way too overblown and popular, and people start having bad opinions about it, which they probably already have. I mean, but you should read it
There's
now.
always bad opinions.
I feel like it's speaking volumes if you're preemptively being like, oh, people are gonna have bad
What's it
opinions about this
actually
one.
about?
Do what?
Hmm.
What's it actually about? I feel like I've
So,
seen that name
it's-
sort of around.
It's the shortest version is it's about these 4 witches. I think they're around like 12, 14ish. They're young, like middle school age, and it's their life being witch apprentices to these 2 older men. I say older, they're like 30s. These 30-year-old men who definitely are not gay. And just teaching them about magic and the harsh realities of the world. It's not. It looks comfy, but it's very heavily political. Of like different factions and strifes and rules against magic and stuff. And but it's very good and it's very beautiful. She put so much thought and work into the paneling of it. Kamome Shirahama. Just a lot of very beautiful panels and pages. Very, very nice. It's got 13 volumes out in English right now. I think the 13th volume literally released like 2 days ago in English, so.
I'll
Wow.
put it on the list.
All right.
I remember
well,
you suggested that for a book club at one point, I think.
Well, it's ongoing, so it would be hard to read. Not too
Yeah.
hard because it would be too hard, but it's just it's still ongoing. So
yeah, it's not done yet. How many volumes is it at now?
13 in English. I
Okay.
think the 14th one is already released in Japanese. I'm pretty sure. But
Okay.
that's the one that it's a Kodansha it is a Kodansha title And
That's
the
unfortunate.
fan subs, the fan subs, as soon as the Kodansha app was announced to have simul-publications, all of the fan subs for Kodansha titles were just like, all right, we're retiring. And, like, as soon as they did, the way the actual translations were coming out was released, and it was like, oh, this is a terrible payment scheme, and this app is terrible, and everything about this experience is terrible.
Yep, the curse
Where
of
are
the
the fan
K-Manga app.
subbers? Please come back!
Yep, the dreaded curse. The dreaded curse. This is also affected our reading of Land of the Lustrous. We could have read the whole thing officially had they actually been what their service offered, which was translating things simultaneously, which they didn't do in many cases. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's not fine. It's
It's
not
not
fine.
fine.
Sound fine.
Listen,
Kodansha is not.
they also
not
like
doing
to
great.
they also like to split chapters into like 4 mini chapters and then sell those mini chapters separately. They like doing that too.
Yeah, like literally, like half of the later Witch Hats chapters would be split into part 1 and part 2. They're not very long chapters. Like they're
That's some
usually
game
like
industry bullshit.
yeah, they're usually like 25, 30 pages a chapter, which is about standard, you know. Because things like Jun Mochizuki, Pandora Hearts and stuff, a lot of those chapters are like 40 plus pages. I could understand splitting those up, but they're doing it for money.
Wait, hold on.
They're doing it for
Yeah.
money.
Game industry
What does
bullshit.
13 pages even look like inside a book? Now I'm thinking about it.
No, in the app, Shadow.
Oh,
In the
okay,
app.
They would
thanks,
split the
fucking God.
chapters up in
Some
multiple
tiny
parts
ass book.
in the app so that you'd have to pay multiple times to read the entire chapter.
Okay, I got you.
Which is sad because the translation that Kodansha does, like, is actually very solid. It's very solid. It feels very, just very nicely done. But the payment schemes, obviously done by a different group of people.
This translation
Ooh.
text.
Yikes.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
That doesn't sound familiar.
if you are interested in Witch Hat Atelier, go check that out from your local library, probably, or like they have official like full releases, not from the app that you can read, right? Like volume releases on
Yeah,
there.
like just buy the physicals.
Yeah, just go check those out. We would not recommend K-Manga. So good luck. Stay safe. Go enjoy that if you're interested in that. And it is time to begin our discussion of Rozen Maiden volumes 5 and 6. A bit slower than I thought we were gonna get, considering we're in the second half of things.
Yeah.
I like to
A bit-
mention, there's only 4 volumes.
Yeah, that has me very nervous. This is the immediate
I'm worried.
biggest. This is the biggest thought that came into my head when I was done with the reading for this week. I was like, we have 2 volumes left, and I thought things were about to ramp up this week because last week we had the big fights happening, and someone was already taken. The Rosa Mystica was already consumed by like Suiginto. That was Sousei Seki. We've already lost one of the 7 dolls. So I'm like, okay, we're making progress on these goddamn games. And then
Finally. Christ.
I mean, there's still
And then this
interesting.
week we discover why everybody needs therapy.
That's true. Like we took a step back to like do this, and I feel like we're about to go into Omega rushed ending battle stuff for the next volumes. I don't know how I'm gonna feel with the ending just based on how this week went. I mean, the things that happened this week I was fine with, but
Yeah.
I'm also just looking at the fact that we have 2 volumes left after this. I'm like, we did not have enough time to cook here
If we had
with
more
whatever
time to
happens
work the whole
next.
story.
Like, I knew towards the later bit of this week's reading when we're just suddenly introducing an entire backstory for Hina Ichigo out of nowhere in like 5 pages. I'm like, oh, all right, so we're really like breaking our neck to
Oh, shit,
tell
we
the story.
forgot. Hold
here.
on.
yeah, they were like, oh yeah, we were supposed to tell the backstory of Hina, aren't we? We're about to end this shit.
But, like,
Well,
they already kind of did, and it was like that was kind of enough, you know, like what we already had. And then they're like, no, we have to really tell it. It's like,
No, we
No,
gotta
no,
turn
no,
it into
no,
a apology.
Oh.
We can expand on this one line we had in the first
Yeah.
volume.
like I already knew going in that this new doll was a thing because she
Yep.
was like all on DeviantArt years ago. There's also another. There's at least one more character we haven't seen yet.
Oh no.
Spoiler. Don't know when we're gonna see them. It's like we'll see them like the last few chapters or something. I don't know. But I was very shocked that we didn't get more of this new character. Like
Don't worry about it.
we got a
Don't worry
lot
about it.
of the we got a lot of Suigento's
Yes.
masters, which was very nice. I like that. I thought their relationship so far was sweet. This reading felt a lot like showing more sides to our existing characters, which was very nice. Except for the fact that you've already discussed that we only have 2 volumes left, so we kind of need to speed things up.
Yep.
It's kind of like at spoiler alert at the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, where there's like 5-6 episodes left, and they decide to pause and say, "We need to give a character growth episode to Romin specifically, and do the entire episode around her and not the plot." And it's like, we have 5 episodes left.
Yeah.
I love you, Romin, but
yeah, it happens. Yeah.
See,
Listen,
it was reminding me of Angel Beats.
Oh no.
it makes me think this is one of those cases where, unfortunately, the anime adaptation might be able to expand on things at a better pace now that they have longer to cook, given that they understand the premise of what the story should have been. So it may turn out to be, I have no clue because I've only seen the first episode of the anime for Rozen Maiden. So it may turn out to be that the manga has given, you the ideas of all this stuff, and the anime is actually going to be the definitive way to consume that story, probably. It might be one of those kind of deals where they have a better understanding of the story that they should tell in a certain time frame that they're going to tell it. Because at this point, as we've discussed in the past, with how much time we got left, it feels like one of those cases where we had an idea for a longer story and we were told we don't actually have that much time. So this is what you get. So let's go through some of the main events that happened here. So we got it starts off with the Suigento backstory with their master there. Their master being the girl who we've seen shots of in the hospital room, whose situation was a little different than what I had expected. I think I had previously said, like, this is probably someone like Suigento is trying to, like, heal their master, who happens to be somebody who's in the hospital and is just kind of like sick. No, that character is that, but also just wants to die.
I love her so much.
And it just keeps talking about okay, Suigento shows up and it's just like, hi, you are, like, I'm going to take your energy now. And actually, I'm unique from the other dolls. I don't even have to, like, have you agree to a contract with me to do it. I can just take your energy, whether or not you agree to the contract. So, I don't really need you to sign this contract thing or whatever, but I'm taking your energy. And you're about to die anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm just fucked up and evil. And the girl, Megu,
like,
I think.
Fucking go, chat.
Megu's like, oh, finally, thank fucking God.
This is my dream.
You say she found her a girl who'll just fucking kill her?
Yes, say the line, Shadow, say the line. Oh my God. It's finally come true.
Finally,
listen,
Yuri.
She was just like, what? She was just like, ever since my grandma died, one day I've been hoping that an angel with, like, black wings will show up and take me away to experience the one thing that you can only experience once, which is death or whatever. And it's like, okay, well,
are you okay?
do we have her on, like, suicide watch here or whatever? Like, are we concerned about the fact that she
don't worry
won't
about
eat
it.
at all, or like
No,
I mean,
she's
she
fine.
has.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, they tell us that she has some kind of heart condition, I think, which is giving her immense pain at times. But we don't really go into detail beyond that. But she has something wrong with her heart, is what we've been told. And I specifically remember that because she describes the heart as their core, and she's like, oh, that's just like our Rosa Mystica's. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. So she's got a heart condition. We got to get House MD on the case. I'm sure he could solve it, the mystery of the Rosa Mystica. So we established their backstory with each other. Despite Suigento using their energy, Suigento has not formed a contract with her yet, right? Because it seems, I don't know for sure, but it seems Suigento feels bad because she knows if she does form the contract, it will kill this woman, like, probably pretty quickly compared to when she would normally die at this rate. So she's like, I don't know if I actually want to form that contract right now.
She's like,
so.
wait, no, I was supposed to be a bad guy.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
No. You guys see like this, okay? You're not giving her what she wants, okay? That's extra evil.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit, you're right. You got me there.
Checkmate.
But you know what also it is? Extra Yuri.
God damn.
You're so right.
This is how you stop the evil dolls that want to sap your energy. You do reverse psychology on them. Say, "Oh, I want to die. Yes, please. Thank you. Oh, you're not going to kill me now? Oh, that sucks. Hey, you want to come sleep in the bed? You want to come chill in the bed? You know, your wings." There was that one scene. The girl's just in the bedroom, like the hospital bed, and just in the corner is just tiny creature, dark angel doll is just like sitting there in the corner because her wings make it so she can't sleep in her case, I guess. So she just is sitting in there, and then she's like, "Oh, you want to come sleep in the bed? The bed's nicer than the floor in the corner." And there's also like, I guess Suiginto likes the song that Megu sings, which Megu learned from her grandmother, who I think she had described as my grandmother would come to. She had said my grandmother would come to like try to ease my pain. She would sing the song, and when she reached out her wrinkled hands, I was kind of more scared of the wrinkled hands than the pain I was going through. I was like, that's a weird detail to say, but okay, all right.
Grandma's old, okay?
That feels like a hyper specific detail. One of those bits where I was like, huh, that's weird. It will either A, be plot relevant later to something, or most likely not. B, it will most likely be that this is a hyper-specific thought that one of the writers involved with this had, whereas like I kind of don't fucking like how wrinkly skin gets when people get older. It's actually kind of scary for me or whatever. That's what that line felt more like to me, because I was like, that's a weird line to randomly think, but also it's probably accurate for like a younger child to think too, maybe. So I don't know if it was trying to go for that angle too. But either way, taught her the song, which the girl apparently doesn't even know the name of because the grandma just sang it, and then Suiginto likes the song. So they have their nice little relationship with each other. The nurses are very concerned about what the fuck is going on with Megu, reasonably so, where they're just like, yeah, she won't eat, and now it sounds like she's talking to herself in the room, and she keeps talking about the angel with black wings.
It was June the whole time.
I'm just saying, why do we allow her to open her window in this room? I'm just saying, that's not. That doesn't.
There's a reason why you don't open windows in hospitals.
So all right. So we got that backstory about Suiginto, and then we also had more development with Suiginto a little bit later. But in between that, we had.
Wait, Jeff, hold on. There's a question I want to ask.
Okay, what's your question?
Okay, if Suigento can sap the energy of humans without using the ring, right? Can't she just sap June's energy and by proxy win?
Yeah, but it's probably something like she can't. I don't think she can long distance sap the energy. I think that's probably.
Well, she keeps showing up to monologue. She's got plenty of time.
Well, yeah, but also I don't know the rules behind her mechanics. First of all, let me just say that I don't know the rules behind her mechanics specifically, but
that's because they don't explain them properly.
But I feel like there's probably something like, because we had a whole speech after this backstory where Shinku is explained to June about how the dolls find who their master is going to be. They have their like little sprites or whatever they are. Are they supposed to be sprites or something? I'm assuming they're like sprites or something. They have their little like spirit things that they all seem to have. They try to find somebody whose soul resonates with their Rosa Mystica in various ways. So I'm assuming with Suiginto's case, it's something like this Megu person resonates with Suiginto in some kind of way, and you can only sap the energy from people who resonate with you enough, is my assumption. Again, we've not been explained the full mechanics of these rules, but I'm assuming that's the case.
Might also be that June just has like 3 dolls that already have dibs on his soul.
I mean, yeah, that's a fact too. I did like that scene where Shinku is talking with June about that stuff, because we're getting back into the moments of trying to like, help June recover from his current social anxiety hikikomori kind of state that he's in. And I had a nice line that I wrote down because she was like trying to make him feel better, because I think he was like, I'm just like a coward, we're like nothing alike. And she's like, well, it takes guts to be able to look squarely at your weaknesses. So even though you're like, staying at home and keeping yourself locked away from the world or whatever, you're like, you're trying to look at what's like affecting you deeply and trying to work through the stuff in your own kind of way. Whereas other people would probably, the assumption being like other people would probably just let that eat away at them and then still let themselves experience the problem every day and then not actually work through their issues. Whereas June's at least trying to do something about it, even though it seems like he's doing nothing. In a way, that's how I interpreted it, but I thought that was very interesting. But I mean, the main importance with that scene was to try to explain in some way how Shinku and June actually are similar in that kind of vein. And so, there was sort of like other lines where they were trying to explain how they connect. And then we get into, after that, it was a lot of meme slice of life moments that we had happen. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going a little bit ahead because we had one little bit afterwards where Shinku was like, anyways, I'm going to call Suiginto now because apparently I could just do that. I'm going to FaceTime Suiginto real quick and be like, hey, sorry for calling you junk.
All
right, bye. So where Suiginto shows up to laugh at you, Shinku shows up to like apologize and then leave, apparently. So
like a true Canadian.
So apparently they just have a communication channel. That's fine. Whatever. And then we get into the slice of life memes, which was a lot of this week, I think. We had Kanadia, who's the next new doll for the group, has still just been spying from outside for, I don't even know how long it would be at this point, but it's been a while. She's just kind of camping out there. And
two, maybe
like
three.
40 times already.
How
did I make that many mistakes?
Well, so she keeps trying to plot things because she's supposed to be the smartest of the dolls. So she keeps trying to plot things, plot ways to sneak into the house, which is not a hard house to get into. I don't even know if they lock the door to this house. I feel like you could just walk in.
The door, though.
So I mean, certainly to June, it does not feel like people lock the door in this house because there's a new doll coming in every fucking week. Apparently, you could just crash through the window, too. That's also an option. Suisei Seki likes to do that. I did think that was hilarious. Suisei Seki has a moment this week where she's like, I'm going to go visit the old man at the mansion real quick. And she doesn't go to walk there. She just apparently can go into her case and fly it around. So she just crashes into there by crashing into the window. A very large, expensive window, probably.
Is there a mode of transportation?
It's fine. I thought that was very funny. That this is how she can apparently travel. So, I mean, she has a whole moment about dealing with Sosei Seki and their previous master there, and like, I guess what it means, like the fact that Sosei Seki's soul is not around anymore, but Sosei Seki's body is still around. Means something slightly different to the dolls than it would be to us humans. Which, by the way, we're given extreme hints that Sosei Seki is not gone. They're just kind of wandering around in the sea of unconsciousness, which, may or may not mean that they can be revived in some kind of way for the big fight that we have towards the end. It may be a thing, or it may just be like this is the only remaining bit that's left since they've been absorbed by Suiginto. It might be something like that too. But yeah, Suisei Seki's just
revival thing. It feels more likely, just tonally.
It really does. But Suisei Seki's just like, so anyways, I'm gonna hang out here now on occasion because I want to take care of Sosei Seki's body as well, I guess. I don't know. It was some kind of way to tell us that Suisei Seki is sort of forgiving the old master for how he was acting before, and also just giving us
joins the team.
and you know, giving us the connection. Hey, listen, this is the important thing here, okay? Now we have money involved here, okay? Now we got funds. Now we got funds if we need them for the upcoming wars, okay? And we got a sick mansion. It's all good.
Also,
it's all fine.
when speaking of money, when are June and Nori's parents coming back into the picture?
They're not. They're not.
Like they have that entire room of like random stuff and artifacts or whatever, like objects. Like when
this is Pokemon. Your dad doesn't exist, Ari. Okay, don't worry. Neither is your mom.
Anime for this.
It's anime logic, okay? We don't need parents around for our stories to progress, okay? This just makes things a lot more complicated, okay? Even though their parents are absolutely in some way associated with these fucking dolls, guaranteed.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, when are we gonna find that out? We got 2 volumes left.
All right, this is enough time.
The
sequel is his parents.
What we're gonna get, my guess, is we're gonna get a whole bunch of weird, ethereal, dream, metaphorical bullshit like we had a lot of this week too, which was annoying me. We're gonna get a lot of that for explaining June's parents' connections to things, probably, and it's gonna be annoying to me.
They killed both of them. That's what happened.
I couldn't tell if that's what was happening, because we had the weird dream sequences happening later on in this week's reading, but it was about like a dude telling a story using puppets to what I was assuming was a young June, and telling the story of the Rozen Maiden creator. And I was like
2,000 years old, apparently.
But then also it was Bunny Man.
Yeah, there was whose official name is the Lapless Demon, apparently, or they just nicknamed him that. I don't know, but it seemed like they were just officially calling him the Lapless Demon. Is
I
actually a Lapless Demon?
That was a memory of June's from when he was a child, meeting the maestro father figure of the Rozen Maidens, who either by random chance or happenstance just decided to do this little play for June, or maybe he did it just like in a public park and June was the only one that listened to him.
He actually did it specifically for June, and he planted a seed.
Maybe! And
for like 10 years later,
him changing into the Lapless Demon, I feel was like because
as
this
a
was
reminder?
a memory.
Yeah.
Well, because this was like a dream memory. Because I think it was like he was dreaming of that, wasn't
June,
he?
remember the thing. It's very important.
What?
Huh?
What?
Wait, what?
What? I don't know. What are you saying? What? What's going on?
Oh, it's Lapless Dream trying to remind June. Hey, by the way, important thing. Remember this shit.
There is also, of course, the possibility that it wasn't actually June's own memory, because you're dealing with dreams interacting a lot with the Sea of Unconsciousness at this point.
Yeah.
And the sort of, I mean, it's getting very morphogenetic. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It, like, again, I get worried with this. We only have 2 volumes left.
I know.
Listen, it's
I'm
fine.
Sure this will wrap up satisfyingly.
I'm sure we got plenty more time for slice of life moments. I'm sure we got.
For the sequel.
God, I hope so.
God help us.
It would be so funny.
So, okay, slice of life moments. Kanadia camping outside. Hina Ichigo finds out about her like weeks or days. I can't tell how much time is passing here, but Hina Ichigo has like found out about this a while ago, and Kanadia is just like, you need to pretend like you didn't see me, okay? Just don't tell anybody, because I have to prepare my sneak attack, and if I just I could ask Nori to just let me in, because Hina's like, I could just ask and they'll just let you in, and they're like, well, but then it won't be a sneak attack. So I can't do that.
But I know though, so it's not really sneak attack.
Kanadia the smartest Rozen Maiden doll, which the beginning of this volume and the next one has a little blurb of character descriptions, and for her it says self-described, self-proclaimed smartest doll.
Self-proclaimed, all right.
Because you know,
Like 5.
Claims to have.
they're
the
all
second brain
5,000 years old. That's not an excuse. They're like,
Is it
No, but
true?
like her and Hina Ichigo are like clearly the youngest.
they're all
Yeah.
fucking babies in this goddamn series, except for Sui Ginto and Sousei Seki. And Sousei Seki's dead.
They are
so
like different levels of.
of dumb.
they're like all babies, and then Shinku's the only one who can lock in when like we need the plot to continue. They're all babies. I mean, I guess Sousei Seki just has I mean, they do have their moment about being depressed about Sousei Seki, which is a requirement of having a twin sister character and then immediately losing that twin sister character. You can't just have them
Yeah.
go back to creature mode immediately, even though they do. We don't start with that stuff. We start with the creature mode, I think. We start with memes.
You know it's good when we can't quite remember the chronology.
Yeah, it's we start with memes about Hina and Suisei Seki vacuuming, cleaning the house, and trying to cook, and ruining this house in the process. And the whole time, Kanaria's outside being like, what the fuck is going on in there? Because here's Kanaria's thing. Kanaria is smart about details with her observations. She's like, oh, I've been, you know, they go out to do the trash at exactly this time. So obviously, it's about to
They'll
be
do it
that
at the same
time. So
time.
they're about to do the trash. What? Where are
No.
they? They're not here at exactly that time. What is it? We have the like factual intelligence, and then we don't like understand the like missing pieces of like, well, these are people who don't actually do things like robots.
These aren't
They don't have a
machines.
timed. They don't have an exact time schedule for these fucking things. If someone's a minute late to take out the trash, that shouldn't throw your plans out of whack here, okay? But for Kanaria, it does, and it's very funny every single time it happens. I think Kanaria's little bits are funny, even though they are wasting my plot time. I will accept
You
it.
think it's funny to make fun of a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's-
tired. I'm tired of pretending it's not. All right, I'm tired of it. I'm tired. But
That's pretty fucked up, dude.
listen, Kanaria gets to go home and chill with her master, who seems pretty chill. I don't know why. So here's the thing. We meet Kanaria's master, who I believe has only been called Meat-chan. Meat-chan so far? Is that?
Big fan of meat.
I believe
dude.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So
I love her already.
they are very, like, as soon as I got this doll, I've been obsessed with this doll. It's so fucking adorable. I'm spending all my money on all the dresses and stuff for this doll, taking care of this doll, making a box lunches every day. Oh, Kanaria, you're home. Oh, your skirt's all fucked. Your ribbon's all fucked, like adjusting it or whatever. Oh, you're so cute or whatever. Like being hyper obsessed with it. She's like hyper obsessed with the Rozen Maiden dolls. Why doesn't she hear these stories of Kanaria spying on the other dolls and think to herself, I want to go see the other dolls too. Let's go just say hi to them. I want to go
Yeah.
meet the other dolls because she's like
You
hyper obsessed with them.
understand.
We have another new
Plot
character,
reasons.
a master, another master in the games who is just choosing to not interact with that whole house, even though their character would have a huge reason to want to interact with that house, being
Well,
she's
also,
obsessed with the
like-
Rozen dolls.
Yeah, because she's like, I can't wait to collect them all. So I
Yeah.
can dress them up, and then she does nothing towards that.
All right,
And-
you gotta understand. This is the gacha game dev's ideal customer.
Here's the thing too. Once Kanaria is actually introduced to the house and hangs out with them every now and then, like we just have these moments where Kanaria is coming home, talking to Meat-chan, and Meat-chan's just like, "Oh, did you go hang out at June's house again today?" Like she's just like a mother who's like, "Oh, did you go to your friend's house today?" Like we're still not. It's like what happened with
Listen,
Tomoe.
this girl has bills to pay.
I was gonna say, isn't this like an adult woman with a job?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure, but like I feel like with how obsessed she seems to be about that, I mean, I don't know. I feel like she would find
Let's take
time.
Work a day or two. You know?
I feel like I don't know. It's just
What would
annoying
you do,
to me.
Chad? What would you do?
If I was obsessed with Rozen Maiden dolls, and mine has found, shut up, and mine has found that there are like 5 of them in one house right now, I would like immediately take a
5.
day off from work and go with Kanadia to go like see the dolls, either by just going into the house or watching them with Kanadia. I feel like if I was like her and I was that obsessed, I'd be doing that.
Finally,
Or
some
type just
brains in
crack
these
down streamer houses.
finally some brains in these sneak attack plans.
I think it's just annoying to me because we have all of these dolls and we have masters associated with each of them. None of the masters interact with each other, really. It's just, I'm going to let my dolls go deal with whatever they have to deal with. Because Tomoe's whole thing is what sticks in my mind and annoys me. Tomoe's whole thing was, I had a whole thing happen with Hina. Anyways, Shinku broke the ring for us, so we don't have to deal with that. Now, Hina, just go hang out with June. Maybe I'll stop by the house like a couple days later or something, but you just go do that.
Occasionally.
Very occasionally. I won't play that much of a role
I'll
here.
remind you that I exist as a character.
Yeah. And like the old man, the old man thing was more understandable afterwards because he was like in a wheelchair at the mansion thing. I don't need to go out and deal with all this stuff. I'll just have my doll go out and do whatever I need for vengeance or
I don't
whatever.
need to fraternize with children.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like,
here
that's
to.
not a bad thing for one like pairing to be like, but it
Yeah.
really is like every single one of them
Yeah.
just kind of following that same pattern.
Which it would be one thing if there were like all individual like good reasons for them to not interact with each other. The girl in the hospital obviously can't leave the fucking hospital for long periods of time. The guy in the wheelchair probably is not leaving that mansion because he doesn't have to, and he's rich. Like if the working girl's whole excuse, if Michan's whole excuse for not going to do anything related to these games is just I have a job, I feel like we had more room to do something for that.
I just feel like there needs to be like a reason that she can't take that time off at the very least.
Because again, we have to be reminding ourselves every now and then these dolls are supposed to be in a death game with each other, and only like two of these dolls have actually given a shit about the fact that they're in a death game with each other. And that was Suiginto and Sosei Seki, who has lost the battle already. Even Shinku doesn't really give a shit that they're in a death game other than to just not die. That's it. Like
Are they supposed to be in a death game though?
They are. They are the Alice games.
They're supposed to
be.
kill each other.
Okay, but like
happily
this reading session started with Suiginto like absorbing the Rosa Mystica and getting hurt by doing so and gaining nothing from it.
If anything, she's at a net minus.
Yeah.
Well, that is what they're supposed to be doing, at least.
The idea,
their understanding.
The idea is supposed to be, in my mind, it's supposed to be one of two things. Suiginto absorbs them. It's supposed to make them more powerful, which we then don't do anything with. So far, we haven't done anything with. 2, they're supposed to be, all the dolls are supposed to, when they combine, I'm assuming become the perfect Alice doll that their creator had envisioned, which hadn't been actually made. And I mean, Suiginto's whole thing was, it seemed to be in the dream sequence that we saw later on, was I really just want my creator's love. So something is clearly happening with her backstory where she's like, I need to become Alice in order to be perfect so that father will love me. And so that seems to be a big driver reason for why Suiginto wants to do this stuff. Everybody else, I don't know why. So that's probably a big reason for why they don't give a fuck about these things and they're just creatures. And Suiginto is just like, I will sap the energy of this dying hospital woman to make my means, I guess. Listen, every other death game in the world, if you have these like dolls and you have a master associated with them, even if you have them teaming up, the masters are also involved with this team up. You don't just have one dude who's like, okay, I guess I'm just friends with all the dolls in my local neighborhood now. They're just all hanging out in my fucking house and I gotta babysit them all. Me and my sister got to babysit them all. Also, we're supposed to be killing each other. None of these dolls want to kill each other, though. But that's fine, I guess. We're only missing one
Masters
doll.
don't have any skin in the game. They're basically just accessories.
So
Yeah.
that was the other thing I want to bring up, too. There is nothing seems to be a threat for the actual humans here. The Sosei Seki got absorbed. The master of Sosei Seki is perfectly fine. He's still at his
that
home.
was a weird thing because there was that whole conversation in the reading this time about like the souls being linked and like if like didn't it
Interconnected and stuff,
actually
yeah.
say like one of them dies if the other does?
Yeah, I was thinking like, okay, maybe it's gonna
And
be.
that didn't happen.
I thought it was gonna be like a, maybe they won't die, but it'll be similar to like the dolls losing their soul in that like they will still be a body, but it'll be like a soulless body of a person. So maybe he just won't be responsive to anything anymore. That doesn't happen either. He's just kind of chilling at home, having a tea party with Sosei Seki's lifeless body. So.
Cap, you understand, okay? This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster rules where there's stakes until they become inconvenient.
That's I mean, we don't.
But also sometimes we have to remind you that stakes exist.
Here's the only risk that seems to happen for the humans involved. The only risk seems to be one, your doll absorbs too much of your power and you die, which almost happened with Hina, Ichigo, and Tomoe. Or two, you are killed by a doll so that their doll has no power anymore. It doesn't kill their doll, but it makes it so that they don't have power, and then they could try to kill that doll. That seems to be the only two risks involved with the people in the contract. So
Not
if
true.
you're,
sometimes you have to go to therapy.
that's true. I'm sorry, I forgot about that detail. It's okay. We have
Sometimes
a
you have to
rich,
beat them.
we have a rich man to help us fund our therapy now. So we got Grandpa to fund that.
And there are weird expenditures.
What else was I gonna say? Did Tomoe show up this week?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
Tomoe. What did Tomoe do?
Because she brought the
Kind of
Korean
confusingly.
girl, the French girl.
Yeah.
Oh
Corinne?
my God, that
The
whole
girl
thing.
that wasn't Korean, but we're
I
just gonna call her
remember.
Korean because I don't remember the other name.
It's
Oh,
here,
F something?
it was like Forrest something or something. So Forrest
Fleur-
French name. I don't fucking care. Listen,
French name.
it was.
I'm on
We-
board with this now.
We were like,
Thank
oh
you
yeah,
for the
Tomoe exists. We'll have Tomoe show up again. Also, we need Hina Ichigo backstory. We're about to get to the end of stuff, so
We need
Um,
more.
we're gonna have. Here's the story as I understand it. We're gonna have Hina Ichigo's the granddaughter of her previous owner show up, and she shows up because of unknown rule, which we will just now establish for plot reasons, which is if your Rozen Mystica ring breaks, it may just appear on a previous owner's hand, and
Yeah,
now
so
they're
they-
linked to you
Didn't
now.
they say that? Didn't they say that like she made a was it contract? Am I just Monica brained? Probably.
She had made a contract with the
She, like,
grandmother.
made it. No, but she made like a second one, like in a dream or some shit.
Yes,
Oh,
so she
yeah.
said that she saw a like a white-haired, white-dressed doll, and
Which
she
is
made
the
a
seventh doll,
contract with her. Which, like, let's be real, the contract was with that doll, not with Hina Ichigo. That's what the Mystica is for. It's with the new doll. It's not with Hina Ichigo.
Are you telling me
wondering
that
how
they're
long
evil
it'll
and
be for
twisted?
that.
Are you telling me they're evil and twisted and lying? You telling me the French girl would show up and just lie?
Well, she might not be aware. Like, she might have
Oh.
like really just thought that this other doll was like some dream or something and was helping her, and that the Mystica really is for Hina Ichigo. But
Here's my thing. If that is the case, which I do fully believe that that is the case, but if that is the case, how the fuck in all the years of this happening would these dolls, like, just randomly think a ring would just reappear on somebody else's finger, and that it's not just a different ring? Wait, but no, hold on, wait. Hold on a second.
they've never met the seventh doll.
Hold on a second. I think I remember
Yeah, you're
that
thinking.
they had her show the ring, and they immediately said that's Hina Ichigo's ring. I don't know if that means it's just made to look like it though.
No,
But-
no.
Because I was going with the assumption that you were thinking, where it's just like this is obviously like a ring for that other doll, and that doll is just using this girl, or like that this girl is just lying to them or whatever. But now I'm remembering them saying that looks like Hina Ichigo's ring, but I don't know what else these dolls can do. Maybe it's a fake ring. I don't know.
Maybe they both just look very similar. Who knows?
So, okay, but the backstory, at least from what we're meant to believe, is that the grandmother of this girl who has shown up, the previous owner, Corinne, that was the previous owner of Hina Ichigo, had, here's the thing that I didn't understand, maybe I just missed a line or whatever, was given a lot of presents as a child, and at one point got the gift of Hina Ichigo, and she loved the doll. They were inseparable until they had to move. At which point she told the doll to hide and wait. And then they just didn't come back for her, and then the place got torn down.
Why?
Yeah, why didn't we just take the doll with us when we moved?
Yeah, that's what I didn't
What-
get.
What
Like,
happened
was
with
the
that?
story
Well,
split?
what's new?
Like, did we have something like?
Well, you
Like-
see, the dolls are actually made from human body parts.
Oh no.
Well, you see,
This takes a
we
real
only
mad
had
father turn.
well, you see, we only had enough luggage in the carriage, so we had to tell her to just stay there and wait, and we'd be back for her. And when we came back, the place was crushed, so we just didn't get her. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe it'll be expanded upon more. Like, we're probably gonna get more answers with the Hina Ichigo stuff later. So they're probably, if it is something like that we're just being lied to about this stuff, maybe that'll explain some of this. But I don't know. Listen. I was just so confused at the fact that we were introducing this new character just out of nowhere, just Tomoe stopping by being like, "Hey, I found this French girl," and and also I
very-
exist as a character, by the way. I just just want to remind you guys I
Friends are
exist.
multiplying.
Like,
And
Troy, do you just normally do this? Like,
You just find French people just lying around.
more importantly than the Hina Ichigo backstory is June's backstory, which we've had confirmations about a lot of things. Somebody here was entirely right about their guess
I
last
was
week.
entirely right.
You were.
Yeah,
were.
good job.
Congratulations.
I
So-
am media literate.
Do you want to talk about what happened so that you can brag more about it? Tell us what June's backstory was.
So June's backstory was revealed to be that he has a hobby of not only fashion, but specifically like girls' fashion. So he likes designing outfits. He likes actually sewing the outfits, creating them by hand and stuff. He used to make little doll dresses for Nori, his sister, when they were little. And over what looked to be like at least a full school year, his classmates found out about that hobby of his in middle school and just started tormenting him about it. I liked how it was handled. Mainly because it was not one incident that led him to dropping out of school. It was very clearly an escalation of events over a long period of time. Like, it looked to be several months, if not over a year or so, of
It
these
was a
things
little
happening.
bit of both. Because there was like
Yeah.
one specific event that like really crossed over the line, but yeah, there was like definitely a significant build up till then.
Because it wasn't just one of like it was the one event that definitely was the tipping point, but that one event happened because of all these previous events and bullying and just June not being able to handle any of that bullying and stuff.
Also, I'm sorry, how did that teacher think that was a good idea?
Yeah.
Hey,
He's like, well, I'm trying my best.
I have
In
things to
what
say.
World.
I have things to say about this fucking teacher and the thing he did. Okay, listen. So the whole. By the way, why are we okay? First of all, we don't consult with the fact that June accidentally posts his design, leaves his design for this festival thing that they're planning or whatever, just in a notebook, hands it in, and they don't consult him about posting it on the wall first, or the fact that they're going to announce to the whole school that he is the designer of it. Nobody talks to him about that first. It just happens. So
I think what happened is that the two main bullies saw the design and saw that June submitted his notebook, and they probably went looking in the notebook and found it, because that's what it looked like to me.
Maybe. No, I mean maybe, but I'm still a little upset that they just announced to the whole school, he did sign this thing. It's all thanks to him. And okay,
if you want to start bullying him, his full name is.
he's right there. He's right there in the crowd. He's right there. Stand up for us.
Get him.
Thank him. Yeah.
So that was one thing I was upset about. Second, he shows up at the house and shows this signed letter, there's letters and one big signed thing from everybody saying, oh, good luck or whatever, we wish the best for you or whatever, from all these people, many of which were probably the assholes that bullied him to begin with, and it's listen, I had that shit happen to me. This teacher shit, what this teacher did, I had that shit happen to me when I was growing up. I won't get into the full details of it, but young Wolfborg in elementary school was bullied for a brief period of time by a lot of people in my class, and this is something that the teachers knew about, and I had talked to them several times about that shit, and they don't know what the fuck to do about that stuff. And so at one point in time, they tried to do that shit where everybody signs a whole thing, trying to be oh, let's stop bullying. We're sorry, so-and-so. And then they present it to me.
Well, let's just be friends,
And they do that shit, and then immediately none of that fucking mattered. And then they go back to doing that shit for years. That shit doesn't help. That shit's cringe. It makes you more of a target. It's not good. All right. I know the teachers think, oh, maybe this will... No, it annoys the fuck out of the bullies and makes them want to do it more. It's not good when you force them all to do that shit. That's not good for them. It pisses them off. And for you, the person who's getting this, you're this is just all lies. They were just all forced to do this shit. And this is all this is not them feel. And it makes you, even if you do believe that shit, you feel worse when they go back to doing it afterwards. You're oh, didn't they just apologize to me? I thought, did I do something wrong again or whatever? You're not doing anything wrong. These are just asshole kids. I mean, it makes it worse here because these are middle schoolers about to get ready for high school or whatever. I don't think they're in high school, right? These are just all middle schoolers. But
yeah, I think they're all middle schoolers still.
I'm just this is we gotta. I understand the teacher probably means well. This is not the way. This is not the way. This is it may be on paper it sounds like a nice idea, but in execution, when you think about it for 2 seconds, one, the act of doing that is just bringing attention to the whole class that, hey, that one dude in your class is fucking weird and stays at home all the time because he has social anxiety because you've all bullied him, which has immediately affected June because he's all these people are looking down on me for the fact that I'm staying at home. They're both perceiving me and perceiving the fact that I'm just a loser that stays at home. And so he feels bad about that. And I'm assuming as well, he probably also thinks that some of these fucking assholes on here are the people who are who were being the asshole to him to begin with, which again, you would think helps, but it doesn't, because you just know that these people were probably social pressured into doing that, and it's probably not good. So June immediately makes himself feel like he's got to throw up, and then he's got to goes into a coma for a couple of days. I think he just wouldn't wake up. It was not, and he wasn't dreaming at that time too. That was an important thing. They were trying to watch his dreams, and they were he's not dreaming right now, so that's not good. And that's where he got into the bottom of the sea of unconsciousness, weird shit, where I couldn't tell if So Seiseki was trying to talk with him there too, or if that was June. I couldn't tell because I thought it looked like Sosei Seki, but I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be June down there. I was so confused with what was going on. That whole dream sequence was
Yeah,
weird.
it's not very clear.
Like I didn't know who was talking to who, what was happening. But okay, all metaphor memes, fine, whatever. I can figure it out afterwards when I'm done reading. Okay, I could sit down and think about what those scenes meant afterwards. Whatever, I can move on from that. But in the meantime, I'm just like, man, why the fuck did that teacher try to do that? Why did we think that this is going to be a good idea? One, maybe, you know, as an extra, try to do something for the students there to try to get them to be more welcoming of him. That'd be one thing. But you don't need to bring that shit up back to June when he's at a stage of trying to, like, get himself back mentally. And he was, like, on the verge. He was, like, picking up his uniform. He was considering putting it on and stuff. Like, we had those moments happen. And we had a moment happen where he was saying to Nori, like, I would like to eat at dinner with you guys tomorrow. Also fix my name on my shoe or whatever. So you're like, oh, we're making progress here. And then the teacher shows back up and then shit gets worse.
Yeah,
like, oh,
really
well.
erased so much progress.
Like,
Oh,
But
just,
it is very realistic, so...
yeah. What were you saying, Shadow?
I can confirm this shit still happens to this day. Teachers
Yeah.
still do this. This happened to me like in 8th
Oh, yeah.
grade.
Yeah, like
Well, because they think that if you just be, everyone could just be friends and stuff, but that's not the issue with it. It's their issue is the problem.
Yeah.
Why did everybody get along? Why is everybody not getting along?
Yeah. Like, again, like I said, that just makes it like the whole situation shines a light on it more so. I mean, the main way you're supposed to do it, I feel, is just like try to ignore the fact that happens, lecture the people who were doing the bullying so that they don't do more bullying of people. Because if they were bullying him, they're probably targeting other people too. Especially with
now
the fact that
he's not there.
Exactly. Yeah. If he's not there, they're going to find somebody else to target. If he's still there, they might still target him. And then you stop the bullies. You don't make June like do anything to change his behavior over this or like get everybody to like there's ways to do it. We're not going to have the answers for how to deal with bullying at school here on this stream.
Anime
but,
book club solves bullying.
But like it's a whole thing that I've dealt with before, and I've dealt with literally the situation with the teachers trying to have everybody sign a thing. It doesn't do shit. It makes shit worse. Don't try that. If you're a teacher listening to this, don't bother with that. Okay. You might think it's a nice idea. It's not going to work out
It's not.
for anybody. Don't do that. So
It's not a nice idea at all. You're a terrible person, and you should feel bad.
so
Yeah.
this is probably
no,
true.
No, this is correct.
It's probably true. Listen, again,
I
the
don't know
teacher,
about terrible person, but you are kind of an idiot.
like the teacher and Nori, they're both trying to figure out how to handle making June feel better and being able to. And the main way I feel like you should do it for these characters is just leave him alone, leave him be. He's working through his stuff himself. He's got all these creatures at home, his little found family with these dolls, even though he has a family, but his parents are just always out. So he's got like a little closer found family right now. That just kind of hang out with him. I mean, eventually, listen,
Maybe.
But
it's
also,
fine.
No, they don't.
It's fine. We're gonna have all of the dolls write a nice letter to Sui Ginto. They're all gonna sign it. We'll present it. It'll be fine. We'll just all apologize and tell Sui Ginto we hope you feel better. It'll you know. So, the June backstory thing about the doll outfit design stuff was, you know, you were 100% correct about that. Again, I had said previously that I didn't think that was going to happen because it had seemed like he didn't know shit about dolls when we first started the series. So I wasn't sure, but maybe like he just
He didn't own the dolls. He just knew how to sew the clothes.
I guess. Which,
because you're right, he didn't know anything about the dolls because he didn't own any dolls. He just did the clothes for Nori.
Which, by the way, we had him design an outfit for a specific girl in his class, and we make a point of establishing the name of this girl from his class and showing several panels of this girl from his class. Are they gonna get involved with the story at all, or is that just this is just a thing he did? We're moving on because I had thought it was going to be. I had thought it was going to be related some way to Tomoe. Tomoe didn't have fuck all to do with any of that. So Tomoe was just there.
Why did they just think of Tomoe?
like
I gotta set it up for the sequel.
No. I swear to God, if the sequel is just a continuation.
I mean, listen, I'm just like, okay, if this is going to be another character we introduced, we got a whole bunch of other stuff we're supposed to be doing here. So
There's a lot happening.
what's going to happen? So, all right. His backstory, which, by the way, the whole fact that he can sew or whatever and all that, probably the fact that he was like getting into sewing and design those things was all fueled by the that character, the, what would you call him, Maestro character or whatever, was doing the puppet show for him and explained that story. That's probably where he got those influences to do that kind of stuff and learn that kind of stuff. And where he also gained the ability to reattach parts onto the dolls with the Maestro abilities. If this is something that can be like given in that way, if it's, I think our original guess was that it's hereditary memes or whatever, and so it's like his parents might be related to it, which probably still could be the case too. So there's a lot of things.
There was that whole bit where Suiginto kept mistaking him for the Maestro.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, she was calling him
I feel like
father.
more
yes.
likely than not.
Maybe.
I think the
Gonna
dolls
be
might just
stabbed?
be unreliable narrators. They just don't know what's going on and are making
Yeah, that's
things
the other
up.
thing. Because also there's that whole
Possibly.
Tomoe thing of like, it could have just been Tomoe, but no, it had to be a completely random, different character. So it could genuinely just be completely unrelated.
Who knows?
Listen,
This is good, actually.
these are all these things where I'm just like, we only have 2 volumes to try to like fix up a lot of these issues I have, and I don't know if we're gonna make it in time for this. I don't know if we're gonna be fixing this up in time. I'm gonna be real here, okay?
It's a sequel.
Like I'm not mad with my experience with this series so far. I'm more just like,
It's just flawed.
it's
Yeah.
just so frustrating because it, like, they clearly had a much longer story planned out for this that they've now had to speed run details of. The fact that we have a sequel, you know, might be able to flesh out some other details or continue some other thing, but they were supposed to do some of these things now. And the fact that we're speeding through it is going to impact how the story is supposed to be perceived. And they very clearly had to speed through some details. And it's very unfortunate because I am enjoying many bits of what's going on with this. And it's just the rest of it is just kind of, we are just spending a lot of these volumes doing slice of life meme moments, which are fun, but also we're supposed to have a death game going on here, which is not progressing and hasn't even been progressing when we've been doing the death game stuff. So, you know, we've had like
I did
2 progressions with the death game ever so far. The actual progression. So I don't know. What were we going to say?
I did like this week's reading, but like I mentioned at the beginning, like it's one of those things where it's like I like these character building moments, but I'm looking at my watch here.
Wrap it up. Wrap it. I feel like if the guy at the Game Awards holding the sign says "wrap it up."
Yeah, like I would be fine if you didn't wrap it up if you had more volumes, but you only have 2 more volumes.
Yep.
And I'm worried for you.
But new characters, Ari.
New characters.
Right, like we haven't even introduced this new character at all, and then we have another whole character we have not seen a bit of.
Yep.
I know I said this earlier. It really is like reminding me of Angel Beats, because you've got the one side of Angel Beats, which was just like 1000% slapstick comedy, which was genuinely pretty good. And then you had the other side of it, which was like just Key being Key, really. Which was also pretty good. But they didn't really mesh together very well. And then near the end of the series, they just kind of throw a bunch of shadow monsters in, and they're like, okay, we gotta cut the cast down. We've only got like 2 episodes left. Come on, let's go. And it feels like kind of the same thing happening here, where it's like you've got the slice of life stuff, which is it's pretty good. It's fine. And then you've got the death game stuff, which is could be better, maybe, but like it's not that bad. But they're not really like interacting in any sort of meaningful way.
Yeah, it is
And
a.
we've got 2 volumes left. Sorry.
It makes me wonder how prevalent death games as a concept were at the time, because we are like very loosely doing things in the plot of this death game series, of the death game stuff. We're like, so it makes me wonder what death game stories were like out at the time, or like had popularized the genre at the time, to the point where we had done this stuff. Like was Mirai Nikki, I don't think was out at this time, was it? When did that come out? That one's like a big, I know the anime wasn't out by then, but the manga, maybe? Did that have a manga? I'm pretty sure that had a manga.
That had a manga.
It had a light novel too. Okay. But the light novel probably came after the manga. The manga came out for Mirai Nikki in 2006, and the Rozen Maiden manga came out in 2002. So this is pre-Mirai Nikki. I'm trying to think what other death games were like big things for it to have like taken influence of at this time. Yeah, because Mirai Nikki wouldn't have started until towards the end of Rozen Maiden, which is probably unfortunate for Rozen Maiden to not be able to take notes from another big series. I mean, I only say Mirai Nikki was the biggest because the anime got popular. I don't know how popular the Mirai Nikki manga was. I have no idea. But I know the Mirai Nikki anime got popular.
Was it a manga first, or was it an anime first?
I'm pretty sure it would have been a manga first. Let me check for Mirai Nikki. Because Mirai Nikki, the manga came out in 2006, and I don't think the anime came out in 2006. It didn't look like it did, at least.
I didn't watch it until like this year, so.
Yeah, no. So it started as a manga, and then the anime for Mirai Nikki came out in 2011. So yeah, so
that's a decent gap. Yeah,
but death games. I'm trying to so Sword Art Online is considered a death game. That's obviously not what we're referring to here with this kind of thing. We're looking for more like battle royale death game, right? Because that's essentially what this is supposed to be.
I mean, battle royale was like a cultural juggernaut.
Oh, that's true. Wait, what year did battle royale come out? Battle royale.
That was like 90s.
Okay, yeah. So it would have at least taken influence from that, for like establishing it as a like death game premise. It obviously would have taken influence from that in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. Like, I guess some long shonen had arcs of death games, but I don't know if it would have taken influence from that. Because I'm just trying to think of like, where did they get their ideas of how to set up their death game story could be? Because it seems like this is like we want these dolls to fight and kill each other, but also I would rather see them have a fun, good time first. It's like we've written an AU about these death game dolls before the actual death game original story, in a way. We just want the slice of lifetimes with them before we actually have them all kill each other, even though we've had like one death so far. And then I was like, okay, now things are going to pick up with this. And then it did not pick up with this week. It was just, and again, like, this doll might not be fucking dead. We've already established that June can put somebody's arm back. And we've established, we potentially have established the fact that if a ring is broken, the ring can just come back. That might just be a lie. I don't know. But now we're being told that or shown that Sosei Seki may potentially have a bit of their soul alive in the sea of consciousness somewhere, which we're putting all the pieces together to be like, okay, none of these dolls have to actually die. They can all come back and all live around just hanging out, torturing June's
the Alex game
home
was
life.
a big farce all time.
June's just like, I just want to be a hikikomori. Why the fuck is there another doll in my goddamn house? Not even just my house, in my goddamn room. I think several of us took a photo of this one panel this week, which I'll show on stream now, of Kanaria showing up into the house. And June just wakes up and he's like, oh god, not another one. Will you guys all shut up? Well, I'm going to show it. Here it is right here. It's a very good panel. It's just, this is the good summary of Rozen Maiden. It's just June waking up and there's another fucking doll invading his house, and he's just trying to deal with his shit, and instead he's got to deal with creatures in his house. Okay, the creatures.
You know, I gotta say, for a side character, he's getting quite a bit of character development.
This is true. He's
Yeah.
he's our favorite side character. Now,
If he's a side character, where the hell's everyone else fit in?
how did we feel about our new doll, Kanadia? How did we feel about Kanadia? I think that she's very funny. I wonder what her actual ability is. I wonder if she locks in, or
Sorry.
I mean, they all have stuff related to dreams in some kind of way, I think, right? Wait. Well, or at the very least, their powers work more in dreams, I think. Because Suisei Seki's thing only works in dreams. Right? No, wait. I think we had a whole point about Suisei Seki's where they can't do anything to plants in real life unless they have a contract on the master, I think. So they can deal with dream plants, but they can't deal with real plants or something. I forget what that meme was about.
What a restriction.
Anyways, I like Kanadia. I think she's a very funny character, acting like the big brains, only to be girl failure 24/7.
I think
It's
it's happening.
I've had Coda.
God.
I've had Coda hates her too. Listen,
Can you blame her?
who else did Coda?
Actually, I can't.
Who else did Coda hate? Did Coda hate
Hina
Ichigo? Okay.
Hina
Well,
Ichigo.
It's
yeah.
fair.
well, obviously, Hina's new best friend is also going to
Yeah.
get hated by Coda. Okay.
Exactly.
Because Kanade and Hina Ichigo are just like best buds. Okay, they're best creatures together.
I am glad that they are actually just out stupiding each other.
Alien communication.
Stupid.
It's it's we like I said, I enjoy the slice of life moments that we had. I just get confused because we spent a lot of time with that compared to the death game stuff that's supposed to be the core premise of these things. These dolls are killing each other, or supposed to be killing each other,
Supposed to be. We haven't been doing that very well.
but instead we're
The slice
destroying
of life
June's
stuff is
house.
Pretty good. It's just not what was promised.
We're destroying this man's house. Well, I mean, it's not. I guess I should. It's not his house. It's his parents, and Nori would be the one in charge of it anyways. But still, these dolls are wrecking all this shit and invading his room specifically. But listen, it's still, it's very cute at times, but it's also, I think it's just frustrating looking at this for like how it was made, like production wise, how they must have been annoyed by the fact that they had a much larger plot that they very clearly wanted to spend time and have fun with, have plenty of time for their fun slice of life moments, plenty of time to slowly develop a lot of their characters and their masters and get them all involved in some ways. And instead they've had to rush things and reduce characters to like nobodies. Tomoe is just a vehicle to bring French girl over to house now, apparently. like
I still don't understand
That's
that.
a very
really?
that feels like a very DM moment. Of like,
yes, it does. Yes. I mean,
oh shit, I set this up so long ago. I can use it. Let's go.
it's just okay. We need to introduce this character. We will have Tomoe bring them over. Good. We remember Tomoe as a character. We could do something with that. I think it's just annoying to me. Why did we establish the concept of masters if only like 2 of them have anything to do with the plot, really? And it's just Hospital Girl and Suiginto's relationship, which actually gets developed more, and then June and his relationship with like all of the dolls that he's eventually going to have contracts with. Like he's going to end up with a contract with like all of them, probably even Kanadia somehow.
Ring pops.
It's all worth it for Megu. She's so funny.
Like they're the only 2 masters that, I mean, the old man in the mansion had his backstory be established, but it was like a rush thing to explain why we have to fight now. Anyways, we're going to fight now. And then mid-fight, he's like, wait a minute, I don't need to fight. I was wrong. And then, okay, well.
I have seen the error of my ways.
All right, we're done with that, I guess.
I don't know what to tell you.
He went through his whole arc before the fight was even done. and like nobody even really had to say anything to him, and then we were just done with that. And then
It wasn't even defeat equals friendship. He just got like partway through, like throwing a punch, and he was like,
Oh wait, hold
"Actually, I
on.
don't have to do this."
I've spent too much time dealing with this shit. I'm just gonna hang out here now. I don't gotta do all
We're
this.
man in a wheelchair. I gotta take a break.
It's when you're establishing the whole doll master concept, you have to actually do something more meaningful than, I guess this is my parent now. Like,
No.
they just, and this is their parent, and they can just wander to other places too. Like they don't get to spend time with their dolls. They just all wander over to June's house and hang out with him instead. So, like,
I mean, that's how children work, though.
See, I was gonna say this is where we hit on the idea that I brought up, where it's like, oh, none of this is actually intended as a death game. They've just like fucked up the whole time
Yeah, I'm with that one.
and turned it into. But
I would be surprised
But
if they
then,
misinterpreted
surely, if that was the idea, they would be killing each other, because then the point would be like the tragedy of them having killed each other for no reason, and them like having to try and learn from their mistakes as they repeat the cycle again and again and again. But that's not happening.
that. Yeah.
that was the real Rozen mistaker all along.
Shit, I thought it was me.
Nope.
No,
And
it's
that's where
me.
you were mistaken. That's the tragedy of
fuck.
it.
Oh no!
I loved how we also integrated Canaria into the house, because it was just layers of like, okay, first she was observing the house forever, monitoring all their stuff, failing at very feeble attempts to get inside the door. Like I said, the door was probably unlocked the whole time for all she knew. She just never tried
Is
it.
there like a vent somewhere?
She was like, I have to, my ingenious invention, Mr. Elf Chan or whatever.
No, it's Elephant Chan.
Elephant. Why did I say elf? I think I watched Red One recently.
The
So
elephant.
never mind. So Elephant Chan, he's like an elephant-shaped door stopper. I will stick this in the door once it's open, and I will have access. And it's like, well, why don't you just go inside? You just go inside when it's open, if that's what you. Or like, there's a million other ways you could do. But okay, like that kind of thing works for me because it's like genius character, self-proclaimed genius, actually is a moron. It's fine. It's cute because they're a little creature. Okay, but we then take that, he needs to go finds out about them, and they're just like trying to still play the game of I'm still trying to sneak in, and then Nori finds her too, and she tries to pretend to be dead or like playing dead or like try to not be a living doll, and that gets broken off screen. We don't even see it, where I guess her stomach just rumbled, and Nori's like, oh, what was that? Oh, and then Nori immediately tries taking care of the doll because, of course, we got another living doll. We already have like 4 of these fucking things in this house. Why not? What's another one?
Playing dead doesn't work once there's 4 other.
Yeah.
She immediately saw the doll outside and was like, oh, Hina, is that one of your friends? And Hina's like, no.
I have no idea who this person is.
I've never seen them before in my life.
No, officer, I swear.
And then June's just like,
They're not.
and then June's just waking up. He's like, oh, fuck, another one. Like, I'm tired of this shit.
damn.
Like, no questions about anything. No, like, anything about that. He's just like, I guess there's
Here we
another
go
one.
again.
Yeah.
Not even
Yep.
interacting with her this time. Just
And then,
here's a shirt. Go away.
and then we have been shown the 7th doll in dream sequences, who I don't believe we've been told the name of the 7th doll, but that's the one with the rose in one of the eyes, the one in all white with a rose in their eye. We don't know the
Are you saying
deal.
there's a rose in the maiden?
Oh my god, can you
Oh
imagine
my
that?
god.
So this is probably this is what I theorized early on with like Suiginto will not, because they keep showing up just to laugh and then leave and not actually fight people. This will be like the actual big bad, maybe, perhaps. That was my early
it's
theory,
what
and
you
that
want.
may be what this character's role is, or they may be a character who will integrate with their group and try to stop Suiginto together. But by the way, again, we've already talked about how the death game premise is not ramping up or whatever, but the fact that Suiginto absorbed Sousei should in theory mean you have more power, which means you should take this opportunity to try to take another doll before, because again, here's my theory. There's two ways that we have for the big fight that's going to happen. It's either going to be one, all the dolls separately are going to try to be battling, not necessarily each other. It's going to be like all of June's group going up against Suiginto maybe, or perhaps some of them split off and end up joining a different side, like Suiginto side, and then they all like fight like civil war or whatever bullshit, or it's just going to be Suiginto and Shinku fighting because they have had the other dolls agree to let them absorb them, to power them up so that they can go into the fight. And then it's actually just going to be a battle between like two powered up dolls, perhaps. These are my theories for what could possibly happen. Because it seems like, you know, all these dolls that are grouping up and hanging out at June's house, they can just at any point in time give up their Rosa Mystica to one of them there, like Shinku, and then they will get themselves powered up or whatever. So I don't know, that might be a thing that happens, but I feel like I was talking about the seventh doll. I don't know what role the seventh doll will play with the final battles of that. I don't know if the seventh doll is going to be the big bad. I don't know if they're going to actually turn out to be like some good character that helps out the June squad, but I feel like, I understand we don't have time for slice of life moments, but I feel like it would be hilarious, and I would forgive this series if it completely dropped the death game premise entirely, if we just had Suiginto randomly deciding to live at June's house and be the edgy dark angel in the corner, being like, fuck off, leave me alone, and then they just occasionally are dealing with White Rose Dream Girl, trying to fight them in their dreams. Maybe I feel like that would be very funny if we just literally have every doll, including the one who's been the bad guy up until now, just all live at June's house. I just feel like that'd be funny. So okay, I had a question. This week's reading appeared to have ended with Hina Ichigo going to sleep and then waking up in the mansion of her previous owner, Corinne. I don't know if this was supposed to be a dream or not, though. What do we think about that?
I'm saying dream.
Okay. Anybody else?
I didn't think it was meant to be Corinne's mansion.
I think she said it was Corinne's mansion.
Did she? I might just be an idiot.
Let me see here. Yes, I have it here. She said she wakes up and gets out of her briefcase and she's like, "This is Corinne's mansion." So she says that at least. So she recognizes it as that mansion.
She recognizes it as Corinne's mansion,
but we
could still leave room for other things being true, but yeah.
But we did see the mansion get torn down, so I don't know.
So
it could have been like the family rebuilt it or something.
It could be. It could be.
Or it could just be like the Sea of Unconsciousness. And
Yeah.
On the note of her like previous master, so it keeps being mentioned that like the last time they woke up was 60-something years ago, except they measure it in hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. That lines up with World War II, and it shows their family fleeing from a burning city.
The war.
And that's why they didn't get to take Hina.
So my off comment about them having to leave during the Blitz.
Yeah, almost certainly true, actually.
Wow.
I see. I understand.
Damn. Good job.
Well, there's your answer.
That's why the doll didn't get prioritized.
Yeah.
Because of the war.
You know,
I
the
understand.
French inclusion makes a lot more sense now.
So, okay. Now, I think we still had this question last week. Were the Alice games done previously? Or is this the first time they've actually been running the Alice games?
They kind of reference a previous one having existed.
Yeah, they've mentioned like them.
Like they mentioned
happening
like 60
before,
years ago.
but they never really mentioned them being finished.
Yeah.
They mentioned
Okay.
previous interactions, but like
Yeah.
they specifically said the Alice game only happens when all 7 of them are awake at the same time, which implies that sometimes they aren't.
Especially because
So-
they've never met the 7th one.
So do they
Ah.
need
think there's sleep
masters if
time.
they're not in a game?
They need somebody to wind their key, at the very least. Otherwise,
Like,
That's true.
they're I don't know what the rules are for the key winding, how often you gotta wind it or whatever. But that was the only way Shinku. We saw that towards the beginning. Shinku did in the fight went to sleep, which never came up again. Just some of the dolls sometimes just randomly going to sleep, and then June had to remember to wind the key in order to wake her up, and that's how we got Nori involved too. Nori was like, "Why don't we try that?" Or like Nori tried to help June figure it out, and then they realized, "Oh, we could try winding the key again." And then she woke up. So if you don't wind the key, they're just gonna stay asleep, I guess. So this probably
wind or what? You're not wind.
But again, with many of these things, we just don't establish the rules for that kind of stuff. Normally, I keep comparing it to other death game stuff because, my brain really enjoys death games. Okay, there's a lot of them, and many of them are dog shit, but they're still fun to watch.
You can't help it.
I understand.
You like
okay,
shit anime. We understand.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it.
Got 'em.
Okay, you wouldn't get it. All
I
right.
wouldn't. You're right.
I'm cultured, and other people aren't. It's fine. It's understandable. Anyways, listen. If you're in a death game, you would want to understand the rules involved with it. You would not be like how June is, where you just let these dolls vaguely explain shit and then just go roll over in your bed and then go back to sleep. You would not literally do that like he is. If you are being told that there is a death game, but I don't blame him for doing that because these dolls don't act like there's a death game going on at all. So,
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not in danger.
Yeah.
The only times he's been in danger have been dreams.
Yeah.
Get more to sleep. He's defenseless.
Okay. Trying to see if I had anything else in my notes that I wanted to bring up and talk about, because I think those are the main things. Because we had Suiginto's thing, we had June's backstory, we met Meet-chan, the master of Canadia, and we met Canadia. Canadia got more introduced to the cast. I hope Meet-chan has more of a direct role in the story, because I like their character, and I want them to be more involved. Yeah. Listen, I don't care. Listen, we've clearly never cared too much about the death game premise in this death game series, so you might as well just ignore it for the end of it. You might as well.
This is not chat shrugging. This is him pleading.
We have to pick. We have to pick one way or the other. Okay, we have to pick. We can't keep doing this for the next 2 volumes. It has to be either death game or Slice of Life.
Ignores it, or it just goes full Mad Father for the last.
Here's the thing, though. If we do lean into, the death game plot stuff for the finale, which is most likely going to be the answer, I don't want it to get into weird metaphorical dream nonsense stuff in order to resolve the games. I don't want that shit. I want to be very clear what's happening with who and why, and I want things to be explained to me about why these are allowed to happen now. I don't
want to have to come to your own conclusions.
We'll have plenty of time for it if we're not spending 5 minutes every 2 pages having Canadia try to break into this house again when she's already been invited in. All right, I don't want to. I don't know.
But she's the smartest one.
She's the smartest one, Jack.
Yeah, if she's the smartest one, she can clearly explain to me how the rules of this death game work. How the fuck does the wind how does the wind key take place? Why can Shinku just FaceTime Suiginto at any point in time? Is this a thing that we could always do?
Together.
Can we FaceTime the Rose Girl? What is? Is this just an ability that we've had the whole time? We just didn't feel like doing?
That one panel of the rose-eyed girl just staring in through for the top of the mirror. I posted it in the spoiler chats
Yep.
earlier.
Oh, yeah, it's real good.
That one's creepy.
Yeah.
She's like a spider crawling down because she's upside down too.
The other ones are like
Right.
creatures affectionate. This one's creatures like derogatory.
Creatures
heard of
will
the
kill
ring.
you in your sleep.
I just put under it me coming to your house through the mirror because you didn't. I was knocking the door, you didn't answer.
Do
This is
mirrors
what-
not just do that for you guys?
This is what happens when you don't finish your reading for book club. When you don't finish Doryhedoro or Azumanga Daioh, this is what happens when you look in the mirror. So,
It's
you
just
know,
me.
be careful. Be
In the
careful.
mirror.
Be careful. All right.
Nothing personnel, kid.
You
But
can't
I
tell
got
me
orders.
what to do.
All right. How did we feel? I want summaries of opinions about the reading this week and our thoughts about what we want to happen with the rest of it. Aztec, how did you feel about this week?
I enjoyed it. I actually liked the fleshing out backstories instead of pushing the story forward.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I wish there was more story to be able to actually go forward with, but
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, and I did look it up because you kept bringing it up. There's like 6 things tagged as Death Game or Battle Royale that came out previous to this in total.
Okay, so
And
like
I
I can't,
disagree with half of those.
yeah, so I can't necessarily blame it for its implementation of the Death Game as like a story concept because it did not have a lot of examples to work off of. So
But it
that's
also makes you
fine.
wonder where it got that motivation to do that, you know?
Yeah,
And
I mean, yeah, go on.
Oh, sorry. So, assuming like the Puppet Master story that June saw in his dream was father or whatever, we found out his name was Count Castiglio.
Oh yes, okay, I remember.
That was actually because they also call him the Saint Germain at one point.
Yep.
That
He's-
was just different figures in history that have been like very mysterious and supposedly immortal ones.
Ah,
So those are probably names that he went by at various points in his life. But if we were to go with the story he told June, those are basically just like historical figures that are mysterious. Like the Count of Saint Germain, especially.
oh, okay. I didn't realize those were actual people.
Well, they're not. They're in quotes, you know.
All right. No names in reality.
Yeah.
No names in reality.
They're as real as Arthur Pendragon. I almost said Artonia Pendragon.
Oh God, fate grand order.
So real for that.
God damn, it's you, Joe, again.
Oh boy.
All
No,
right,
bait.
this
Go
was
on,
my
Asa.
favorite panel from the week.
Okay, let's see
Because I think it was hilarious that Hina just dropped that she occasionally experiences exponential dread or existential dread when she goes to sleep and then moved on.
it. She was
Oh,
just
did
like
that not happen to you when you were
she,
5?
she was just like, yeah, sometimes I go to sleep thinking I won't ever wake up. That sucks. Anyways, if you ever, need somebody to help you feel better, I'm here for you, June. So, okay, all right.
You know what? That's me. That's me.
And for prediction, so since one of the current characters' grandma got brought up as like a ring bearer way back when, and Megu's grandma has been brought up singing a song that one of the girls likes. Do you think she held her ring or whatever?
Perhaps.
Oh boy.
Perhaps. You just reminded me, though, there was one detail about Megu's backstory. Her parents just don't show up anymore because they said she had 5 years to live at first, and then she said she had 10 years to live at first, and they just got tired of waiting around for it, is how she explained it. Or I'm assuming it's more like they couldn't stand the pain of like watching her for all these years with that situation or whatever, but her parents just have just abandoned her at the hospital, apparently, which fucking sucks.
That's
What the fuck?
like complicated bad.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you shouldn't be doing this, but I do kind of get it.
Like, because like I said, I'm assuming the main reason isn't how she described it, where she described it as my parents just got tired of waiting for it or whatever. It was probably more so like every time they went there, they were like, when is she, you know, they're like so worried about when she's going to die, and they know like her pain comes and goes or whatever. Like, and if they're dealing with it for longer periods of time than they're expected, you know, over and over again, it's like it's probably doing something to them to where like it's just too emotionally damaging to them to want to do it, which it can be understandable, but also is got to be devastating for Megu, and is probably a big influence for why Megu's just like, I would like to die. That would be very nice. I don't, you know, maybe all my pain will go away once I do. It's like, oh no, that's not good. Can we like close the window here real quick? Can we like
deadbolt it?
You know, stop her from doing that? Yeah, that'd be nice.
It's just weld the wall closed. Okay, we don't need to open the window.
Anyways, anything else, Aztec?
Oh yeah, her dad showed up at the end of the.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
Did he? Wait.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Oh yeah.
For like a half a panel, we saw.
Like a half about. It's like supposed to be a fucking cliffhanger note.
Oh,
wait, no, next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I remember. Yeah, okay, I see now. Because Megu is like freaking out on them, and then her dad shows up, and then we'll find out next time about that.
Yeah, your daughter's been losing her marbles for the past few weeks.
Rozen Maiden Super.
I completely blanked on that detail. I think what made me not connect that at first, or like didn't like remember that, was we've had the dream sequences where Suiginto just keeps referencing father or whatever, and it's actually just June or whatever. So I think I like got confused with some things like
filed
that.
It away.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, is this just another dream bit about like thinking about father or whatever? But it's actually Meku's dad. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next time. Anything else, Aztec?
No, I'm good.
All right, Lady Galaxy, what'd you think?
Oh no, that's me. Yeah, I mean it. The flaws that are here are flaws that have been here since the beginning, and they haven't really gotten worse or better. They've just kind of remained about the same. But like, it's fine. It's an okay read.
That's fair. What do you want to happen for the last volumes?
I either want it to be resolved in the most anticlimactic way possible, where absolutely just nothing gets resolved. There's like no answers.
Everybody just hugs it out.
They're just all friends now.
You find out the Alice game is actually just like a board game that one of them made like 600 years ago, and they're just supposed to play that
Alice
together.
game is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
I made this game for my daughter Alice.
But now they're like, oh, you can only do it. You can only do it with 7 players, and we killed.
Herself.
You can only do it with 7 players. We killed Sosei Seki, so now we have to have June play it too.
Could Estrogen have saved her?
Maybe, perhaps.
Or I want it to just take the most fucked up turn possible, just like in the last minute.
Oh my god. Anything else?
Nope. I'm good.
Shadow, what did you think of this week?
Well, I'm mostly the same. Like, yeah, I thought it was fine. Although I will admit, I was looking at my watch like every like couple panels, like, do we have time for this?
Dude,
no.
So not only was I like that, I also had many panels where I'm like, this is too confusing for me to want to give a shit about what's going on all of a sudden. So I'm just gonna look at my browser tab and do something else for like a minute or two, because like now we're just bringing over a random French girl, and we're giving us a whole backstory about this woman who we've met for like all of 2 seconds that Tomoe just brought over, and we have like no time to do other things right now. Why are they here? I was just like, I don't even give a shit right now. I had to like mentally reset. I'm just like, Jesus, come on, let's slow down. I don't like, yeah, I felt it. We're pressed for time here. Okay, we gotta calm down with how we're doing some of these things. I don't know. What else you got, Shadow? Anything else? Shadow.
He says, "Give me a minute."
Oh, okay.
How about you give your thoughts, or do you want me to go?
I mean, most of my thoughts I had said, but I'll just kind of summarize them here. I was still fine with the readings for this week, like on their own. Other than like the pacing of us doing certain things, like introducing Hina Ichigo, the French girl with Hina Ichigo or whatever. Everything else about it I thought was like pretty good, with like you know, being a nice balance of slice of life moments with like trying to like introduce some emotional backstory stuff for these characters. The death game stuff is obviously still weak, but we've, you know, as Lady Galaxy said, we've known this kind of issue since the beginning, so I can kind of forgive it. It's just still kind of annoying, but it's whatever. And I did enjoy Canaria, especially for their slice of life moments, so I can forgive this week's stuff. But it's, you know, again, looking at the series as a whole, this week's stuff should not have happened in the way that it was presented, probably, to tell the story that we want to tell. We should have had far less slice of life memes here, maybe had them earlier on with like the death game stuff spread out between it more evenly, or cut out a lot of some of the stuff to just focus on maybe June's thing. And like, I think my whole thing is June's story. I mean, the core premise of the story is to try to heal June, is what it seems like. And so I had assumed that this was also going to be the case for most of the other masters too. But really, it's only been for June, probably for Megu, and then I guess we had it a little bit for the old man. We had it a little bit for the old man, where it was just...
We had it for the old man. It was just a side story thing.
But here's my problem with the old man thing. We didn't need this whole thing to happen for him to come to the realization that he did. Because nothing really happened to him to make him come to this realization. He just had the realization mid-fight. He was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't do this.
Well, it was more that he saw the twins fighting, and that came to him, that made him realize that the twins are just like him, that this shouldn't go on.
I was just like...
It was specifically watching the twins, his dolls fight, that did that for him.
Yeah, I wanted more, I guess, is what I'm saying. I wanted more. If we were going to be doing these healing stories of these other characters, I want more with them. I don't... Tomoe didn't get shit except for her, like, a couple weeks later saying offhand lines about how society wants you to pretend to be what their expectations of you are, which was not even remotely brought up to us when we were seeing her getting absorbed by Hina Ichigo and having to address that as an issue for all that. Tomoe's thing just didn't do much. And then Michan's probably not going to have anything to do with anything. I don't know. With how Michan's been presented, we're not really meant to be worried about anything going on there other than, I don't know, maybe her losing all of her money buying clothes for dolls. She was literally saying, I'd go bankrupt. Gotcha. So, I mean, again...
Playing Infinity Mickey.
Less so than the whole death game premise. I just wanted more of, the... nicer, more developed stories about each of the masters involved with this game and how the presence of the dolls or their interaction with the dolls or the other characters involved with the story helped change them in some kind of way. Because if that's what the core theme we're going with June, I kind of wanted that to extend to the others to kind of see more so different people's ways of bettering themselves from their issues that they're struggling with. I kind of wanted to focus on that kind of angle of the themes of what was going on more. And, now I don't know if that's going to really happen to anybody except maybe Megu. And I guess, June and Megu, but all the other ones like Tomoe, this is not going to matter for this. Maybe the new French girl that showed up might have something happen with her, I guess. But yeah, I don't, Michan is probably, Michan's like gonna be like the Goda in the group. Michan is gonna be like, yeah, I'm just a character. I just want to buy cute things for my dolls. And Godo is just like, I just cook. I wasn't involved with any of that shit.
I just want to cook.
I just want to cook. So,
it's just it. Sorry,
What?
sort of piggybacking off of what you were saying. It's not landing the like emotional catharsis that you would really need to turn this from like a pretty decent read into a pretty good read.
It's because it's good at that when it gets the time to do that stuff. What it's doing with June's story, it's doing very well with. And even with the offhand lines that we hear from, Shinku occasionally dropping an occasional line, or Tomoe's lines about like expectations. Like, we'll have these throwaway lines from characters that are very like good indicators of ways that the creators can tell those kind of character development stories. And we just don't have enough time to focus on those here in order to progress what we have. And so they're just, instead of actually being fully developed, in many cases, they're just an offhand line. And then maybe a couple weird dream sequence shots. And I don't know. I feel like I would have liked more of that. But again, all this to say, I know it sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but I don't hate the series. I don't hate what we're doing here. It's just frustrating because it just needed more time. It's just frustrating. It's like super frustrating.
You can see the good thing that it could have been.
Yeah.
And it just didn't land it for whatever combination of like scheduling and genuinely might just be like first draft kind of issues.
Yeah. And like I said, I this is most likely for me probably going to end up being a case of the anime will probably be the better way to consume this story because it will have more time to have ironed out all the issues with the pacing of the progression of these things, as opposed to this. Because like I already know immediately that it cut out a whole bunch of time from the manga, from just the first episode I watched, because it has Nori get introduced to Shinku in like the first episode after the first battle that happened towards the beginning, the like tutorial battle that they had happen. Nori just immediately walks into the room and finds Shinku, and they're like, oh, that's a living... Well, she makes the joke about it being a sex doll or whatever, and then we move past that and we're like, oh, this is a living doll. Okay, well, we've already cut a whole bunch of scenes down just by doing that. We don't have to deal with a whole bunch of those anymore. Now we just go into that. So that means they have more time to do other things that are more important in order to progress this stuff, which are obviously choices that were made in order to adjust for the fact that the creators had some different idea for how this is supposed to go, and now we get more time because we have the foresight of how long our series is going to be now. We get to design it in our kind of way. We understand how the original series was supposed to end, and we know we have this amount of episodes we can produce for it. So we're not like the manga creators who might not have known they were only going to get 8 volumes. We know that we're going to get this number of episodes to tell this story. And we know how it's supposed to go, we know the way it's supposed to end, and we know the beats along the way. So we probably have more ways that we can adjust things and cut out certain things that weren't necessarily as important to focus on, even though they were like cute. Maybe we'll put those in an OVA or something. I don't know. Like, we can do things like that. And that's where I feel like this is probably going to be the case with this. That we might, when we end up watching the anime for this, we'll probably end up enjoying it far more. But even that isn't to say that we hate the manga. I don't hate the manga. I just, again, it's just a frustrating experience. Not just from the fact that we're reading rough translation rough old fan translations or rough old scans. It's also the fact that, they just clearly had a bigger story that they wanted more time to do, and then they were cut short in many ways. So it's unfortunate. Shadow, are you back now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Okay, so I keep mentioning about like being worried that we only have like 2 volumes left, but I will admit, I've seen worse. Okay, when we're doing like X, when we got to I got to the end of volume 2, I'm like, there's no fucking way this is gonna happen. There's no way they can salvage it, right? Because like volume 2 ends with like he meets the 6th boss. There's 2 more. Sigma Castle's like way off in the distance. Who knows what's gonna happen? At least here, because I don't know what's gonna happen. there's like a chance
Yeah.
it could be salvaged. It's not just despair all the way down.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, because I don't know the way that they're going to end it, because there could be many ways where they could end it to where, 2 volumes is plenty for them to do that in a perfect amount of time. So, I shouldn't just be assuming that it's going to be a rushed mess or whatever, but I just get nervous based on how other elements of this have seemed to gone with, oh, now this character's just here. Anyways, they're gone now. I don't know. Anything else, Shadow?
Nothing else.
All right. Ari, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy, no, I'm kidding.
You hate it. You hate it.
No. Pretty much what I've already said. Just I like these 2 volumes, but I'm just worried about wrapping up the ending. Because there is a lot of loose threads, but there's not very many that I would be remiss if they did not tie up. Because overall it has been a very slice of life kind of story. And yeah, I do like this story. The parts that it does well, it does nicely. I just wish there was more of that. Because all of June's actual backstory of why he left school, all of that feels very believable, and it fits very much in line with the story. Even the whole discussion we had with the teacher, that's very realistic. The teacher's an idiot, but that's very realistic. So the things like that, it does very well. I just wish we had more of those kinds of things. But we only have 2 more volumes, so let's see. I am worried about the whatever the last, or maybe there's more characters left because we haven't even seen the father yet. Who knows if we'll see the father? Yeah. So before we wrap up though, because I'm done rambling. So the whole premise is that this doll maker, Count of Saint Germain, Cagliostro, whatever we want to call him, he has been trying to create Alice, this doll. So what are our bets towards that? What are our bets of I guess why he's doing it, or what the outcome is going to be towards that plotline specifically, the father and the dolls.
Okay.
I'm asking.
I feel like my instinct, I guess, and this is probably more to do with me than it is with the series itself, but I feel like it's going to be he had a daughter or something that died previously, and this is his attempt to give her a second chance, so to speak.
Yeah. That's pretty much my interpretation, is that he's trying to revive a daughter that he had. And he has created these dolls because, well, we especially see that he is this immortal kind of figure. So maybe his daughter died before he was able to come up with some cure or something, and this is him trying to revive her.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading something, so that's why I said it like that. So what was the question? The question was,
how dare you read during book club?
Listen, what's the question?
What are your thoughts on where the main plot line for the father and the dolls is going to go? What is your interpretation of it, and where do you think that's going to end up? Not necessarily the Alice game, but the father and Alice with the dolls.
A part of me wonders if it was something like the father had this idea for an artist kind of deal, had this idea for a doll in his head, kept struggling to design it, and perhaps only looked at these dolls as works of art, And this is why Suiginto has been the only one who's actually given enough of a shit about that to feel personally offended by that. Be like, why does my father not love me or whatever? But the father probably just sees them as like works of art and was trying to create the perfect work of art, perhaps, which was the Alice doll, which they seem to believe will only come true if like all of them are combined in some way. Because probably like a bit of the idea for what he wants is like in part of all of them, and I don't know. These are like ideas that come to my head when I keep thinking about like the fact that he made 7 of the dolls, and the fact that like he was like searching for like Alice or whatever, trying to give birth to Alice. Did they use the word Alice being reborn or give birth to Alice? Because the reborn part would be the important factor. If like Alice was a thing that existed prior, like perhaps he's trying to make a doll of a previous daughter he had who passed away, recreate her, but he's not able to invent her properly in like that kind of life form or something. I don't know. These are like ideas that come to my head when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I know that's going to be a detail that they're going to want to focus on for the last 2 volumes at least. We're going to find out about the father stuff. We're going to find out about the Alice stuff. We're going to find out about June's character development probably. And then everything else, I have no idea. These are like the main things that like have to be addressed with how we've set up this story. And then the rest of it can go any way with them. I feel like it does.
Do they?
I feel like we do have to have June go back to school at the end. I feel like he's got to go back.
Sequel series.
That's true. But we would get to the point at least where he's not necessarily at school, but he has like we've completed some kind of thing in a way that June has now developed as a character to be more accepting of himself and go to school if he wants to. And then maybe the sequel would be he goes to school. But in my head, it's like the last panel of this is him saying, all right, I'm heading out to school.
And heading off with toast in his mouth.
Yeah, and maybe Shinku's still there. And maybe Shinku's like, all right, stay safe. Or maybe Shinku's like, all right, you take me with you, right? And then he has to take like all of the creatures with him to school.
All 7 of them.
All 7 of the Dragon Balls, yes. Or he dies.
Okay, that would be kind of funny for a sequel series, though.
It's just a school
Just the idea of,
comedy.
like, putting all of
The real
Death
death game, grades, going through school, then going through high school, then college. He's got to survive social cliques in the school. Try not to get bullied again challenge. My dolls will kill you if you laugh at me.
instantly failed.
See all the dolls march past in those little hard hats the kindergartners wear.
You gotta fuck with me. These dolls are gonna invade your dreams now. All right, you're fucking dead, kiddo.
Great
Nightmare on Elm Street style. All right, don't go to sleep. All right.
Don't go to school tomorrow. I'm bringing 7
boy.
dolls with me.
Oh boy. Okay. Anybody else have any other final thoughts, comments, questions, concerns before we wrap it up for this week, I think? Alrighty then. That was Rozen Maiden volumes 5 and 6. We're now 1 week away from the finale. Next week, volume 7 and 8. And we'll be done with the original series, Rozen Maiden, which again, as we've mentioned, there is a sequel series. What that means exactly, we'll find out once we actually finish the original series. Whether it means it's a completely different story that just happens to continue what has happened here, or if the story does not actually get completed here and has to be continued with the sequel, which I hope is not the case because it will frustrate us as book club readers. It means that we will have to read the continuation like at some point soon before we forget all of the details, but we'll figure that out when we get there.
What's
This is-
worse,
we-
though? A necessary sequel or an unnecessary one?
Well, I mean,
Unnecessary.
I-
Because I would define unnecessary as like it is actively harming the series. Because like you could have a sequel. I wouldn't consider that unnecessary, you know.
It is important to
So
note
just
that the
because-
sequel. It is important to note that the sequel is not like called some subtitle. It is just called Rozen Maiden again.
Yeah.
So I guess this
Is it
could
like Dragon Ball? There's no actual difference.
probably. It could also be like, you know, Chainsaw Man. Part 1 of Chainsaw Man, is like its own story in itself in a way, and then like the current stuff that's going on. You need to read the first bit to get into parts of it, probably, but more so you could read the first thing by itself, and you don't necessarily need to go into the second part to get into what else happens next. I think, at least with what I've read so far of that, it might be something like that. But I get nervous because I mean, Chainsaw Man's doing the same thing, where it's just continuing under the title of Chainsaw Man. It's not like they finished Chainsaw Man, now they're going Chainsaw Man, and then like a subtitle sequel thing. They're just on the school arc of that. And so it's like its own contained thing in a way. So I wonder if that might be what happens with Rozen Maiden. But we'll really know for sure once we do next week's reading. So good luck with everybody with all of that. I hope we're all satisfied with the ending that happens. We've all been... The recurring theme here is us being pretty nervous about looking at our watches and being like, we got 2 volumes left. There's things coming up. This character's showing. There's a whole character that apparently we haven't even met yet still. Oh no. So it could be fine. It might be perfectly fine. All I know is if it's one of those memes where we don't actually get an ending and we have to read the sequel, we do not have that currently on the schedule to do it, and we're not pulling an Umineko where we just are suddenly deciding to read the sequel series. This is not what's happening. We have Pluto on the
This is
schedule
not
next,
the-
and this is what's happening. Okay, so
Perhaps
let's-
Pluto, though.
we
But
are
maybe
reading
if it was
Pluto
as good
next.
as Umineko, I mean,
Listen, Umineko was like
Few things are.
Umineko was like, all right, we've already lost like 2.5 months. Might as well lose another 2.5 months.
the word is devoted.
Uh-huh.
2.5 months.
Also, Mineko was good. This is not so as much.
True. This is good. This is good. It's just it could be like better.
I love you, Toad. Say it's good. You know,
Well, I don't want to be like overly like it is good. It's just not Umineko.
it's like very nice art, very fun characters, very cool concepts, and it just needed more time to cook. And which hopefully the sequel series is able to breathe more as a result, which would be nice to see. And then hopefully maybe the anime is better paced as a result, but we won't know until later. So we'll discuss this all with the final reading stuff next week. So if you were interested in these discussions this week, if you enjoyed them, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is on any of the platforms that you're on. We are typically live every week on Thursday nights, 9 o'clock on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. You can find all the links to all these things if you go to wolfborg.com, and you can go to youtube.wolfborg.com, twitch.wolfborg.com, or kick.wolfborg.com. Typically, we stream on all of them, but the VOD will live on YouTube, so if you're not here to make it for the live stream, you can listen to all that stuff on the YouTube, where we also have separated playlists for each individual series that we discuss. If you only give a shit about certain series, you can check those out. And if you would like to be either a part of the discussions, either live or just the text chats where we discuss the memes of the series, post some of them, we post some fan art that we find of like several passages we've read, or if you want to get involved with other series in the future, join the Discord at discord.wolfborg.com, and you can come hang with us in there. Once you grab yourself the Anime Book Club role, we'll know that you're a part of the club, and then we'll hang out and we'll have a good time. It'll be fun. After Rozen Maiden, we're going to be reading Pluto, so if you're interested in Pluto, get ready, join up, and we'll read that together. So
We will remake it a planet.
yes,
You really
true.
can just join.
Yeah, you
That's
can.
what I
Anybody-
did, and they haven't kicked me out yet.
Not yet. No, not yet.
Yet.
I know. A month in ice.
One more mistaker.
Well,
Oh no.
thank you so much, everybody, for coming to hang out. I appreciate you all. Thank you to our guests, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, gamers. Goodbye. Bye, stream. Goodbye.
Happy New Year.